Everybody, what's going on? It's Chris Flowers, your host for Here's the Deal. Hey, it's 2024. We're back. We're putting out all new shows. Okay. We're going to inspire people on how to either start businesses or if you currently own a business, we're going to make that business run better. And if you're on your way out, you're thinking about an exit strategy, we're going to help you get there too. If you're not thinking about an exit strategy, you better start today. Okay. But so we're going to give you all the tools, no matter how far you are in business, we're going to give you those tools to do so. All right, that's what this show is all about. Here's the deal to inspire people to get their businesses started, make them run better, or how to exit them properly. Now, we also want to interview business owners. I want to hear your story. I want everybody to hear your story. How you started it, what motivated you, okay, what troubles you had, how you overcame those, because we want to inspire other people to do exactly the same thing. Okay, that's what this show is all about. Now, this show is brought to you by Litchfield Auto. Okay, I gotta tell you something. I've known Phil and a crew over there at Litchfield Auto like easily 10 plus years, right? When I first met Phil, I had some basket case BMWs, man. And they had high miles, weren't taken care of by the last owner. He kept all of them on the road. All right. That's how good they are. I highly recommend them. I have recommended them. I will today, and I will keep recommending them in the future. Phil and his crew, Litchfield Auto, they're local here in Arizona. They don't do cheap, but they do excellence. All right. Doesn't matter what it is. BMW, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Chevy, makes no difference. Okay. If you want your car fixed right at a good, honest price, done well the first time, the Litchfield Auto, that's where you go. Okay. Now, this show, like I said, I want to help people get businesses started. In nearly 30 years, I've been doing business finance. One of the things I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times, is somebody wants to start a business, and I call it, they go Cortez. Okay. Now, Cortez, of course, he was so dedicated on beating the Aztecs. Some say he burned the ships. Some say he just, dismantled them. But either way, he was not going back to Spain. Okay. He's like, we're going to beat the Aztecs right here. And we're not going back. A lot of people do that in business. Okay. They're like, hey, look, I'm sick of working for the man. All right. I'm going to start my own business. I can do this. Right. They quit their job. Okay. Then, they're like, they're going to cash in their 401k, spend all their savings, max out their credit cards, maybe even take a home equity line of credit, max that thing out. And then they're going to go to a bank. So they're going to say, hey, I need money. Okay. That's already DOA. You're already dead on arrival. Okay. There's ways to get money pre-revenue through SBA, through an SBA loan. Okay. But by you going all in like that, doesn't show me that you're dedicated. Shows me that you didn't know that this was available. And that's what this show Here's the Deal is all about. We're trying to give you the tools that are available. And going Cortez doesn't show me you're motivated, doesn't show me you're dedicated, shows me that you didn't have the proper tools to get this thing started. But that's what we're going to fix. Now, you really got to decide. There's three things in an SBA loan, what they really look for: industry experience, cash injection, and then here's the kicker, which you already killed yourself: post close liquidity. Okay. So you can get money pre revenue. Okay. You haven't made a nickel. An SBA loan can give you that money. Now, here's another tip. Just because a bank says they do SBA loans doesn't mean they really do SBA loans, because they really don't. Now, what an SBA loan is, an SBA loan is an insurance policy for the bank, not for you, the bank. Okay. It's an insurance policy to them that if you default on the loan, they don't have to eat all the costs. Okay. Now, that allows them to take more risk, because normally a business that has been in business for less than 2 years and doesn't have a certain amount of cash flow, they're not even going to consider. If they do SBA loans and they can get this insurance policy, they'll at least maybe consider it. But like I said, not all SBA lenders are the same. Okay. But that's why you work with an expert like me, because I can navigate those SBA waters for you. Because if you walk into your local bank thinking you're going to get an SBA loan just because they say they do SBA loans, doesn't mean they do, because the bank makes the loan, not the SBA. Now, The SBA has a thing called an SOP. So to perfect the insurance policy, the bank has to follow certain steps. But what banks do, because they're risk adverse, they're going to add on top of that. Okay. So again, there's the difference. Now, certain banks don't like certain industries, restaurants, gyms, okay, um, contractors. They're where most of my entrepreneurs right there because that's probably what they're going to get into. But I can tell you where to go. You're going to want to get with me. So I can tell you what banks will do SBA loans for that industry and what banks won't. I'm going to save a whole lot of time and a whole lot of frustration. So, like I said, don't go Cortez on me. And it's, quit your day job and things like that because that day job is might be what helps us get the SBA loan until your business really starts cash flowing. So again, industry experience is going to be part of the key of getting an SBA loan. Okay, so let's take myself for instance. All right, now I've been in finance for nearly 30 years. Like I said, I was flirting with the idea of starting a catering business because I've been cooking my whole life. My brother is a chef. He's been doing it for like 40 years. Um, and I enjoy cooking for family and friends. So I said, you know what? And people are like, oh yeah, your food's this, that. Food's really good. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's in my blood. I should probably, maybe start this thing. You know what I mean? So I started doing some small jobs. Everybody at church, did a few jobs, got some repeat customers. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Now me being the finance guy, like I said, you know, I know cash flow and I know profit margin, right? But being a business owner, like I said, it changes the game. Okay, because now I never measured anything. My family never measured anything. God forbid, we wrote a recipe down. No, to forgive me. We don't write recipes down in my family. Okay, I had to write everything down. I had to write the recipes down. I had to measure everything. What does a quarter teaspoon of this cost? What does a half a cup of this cost? Never had to do that before. Okay, these are all the things you got to consider. Okay, because you got to know what your expenses are. You got to know what your margins are. You got to know what your profit is. That I knew like back of my hand. My profits were really good too. So, yeah. So from a cash flow perspective, I was looking great. Okay, but I had to really do some introspection as well because as much as I love cooking for family and friends, when I had to start doing it for other people, it changed the game because it changed the timelines. Now I'm on their schedule. When do they want me to work? Nights, weekends, holidays, right? So now my family time is getting cut down, okay? Because people are going to want me doing holiday stuff and things like that. And I had Christmas deliveries, all kinds of stuff. So again, it changes the game. You got to really think, do I really love this? Do I love this enough that I'm willing to give up my nights, my weekends? Do I love this enough where, you know, you better check with your significant other, your wife, spouse, husband, whatever, because that time's getting cut. Okay, kids, time's getting cut. So you got to really look at this hard and say, is this something that I want to do? Industry experience is key. So you got to know that business. So I had to take a look at myself and had to say, no, I mean, this is really a hobby for me. I like cooking for family and friends, but and again, cash flow was good, margins were great. I knew that very easily, but I had to really look at myself hard and say, okay, I really don't want to do this, for the rest of my life, for my job. That's hard. That's hard to do. Okay, guys. So, but it's 100% necessary. Yes, you got to have the grit. You got to have the determination. You're going to work nights. You're going to work weekends. If you're not working in your business, you're working on the business. Okay. So it's got to be something you really, really like to do. I mean, you got to love this thing. If you're a mechanic and you love turning wrenches and you love hearing motors hum, great. Go for it. We're going to give you the tools here. Here's the deal how to do it. But it's not something you can really, dedicate that, yourself to like that. Like I said, it's going to be some personal introspection you have to really look at. Now, Like I said, I've had engineers come to me and say, I want to start a convenience store. I've had people do this. They're thinking like, oh, it's this cash cow, cash business, this, that, and the third. So I had to say, hey, Mr. Engineer, um, what do you do when everybody quits? Are you ready to work the midnight shift at this thing on a Sunday night? Are you prepared to do that? Because that can happen. Do you think you're just going to hire people? You think you're just going to run a staff? What if they all quit? What if they call in sick? Whatever. See, are you prepared to make up the slack? You really want to do that on a Sunday night on a midnight shift? You got to run the store. I said, you better think about it. You know what I mean? Because it can happen. So he had to go back and do some reflection on that. Now, success story. I had a client who was an Air Force brat, grew up in Italy. All her friends were all fashion designers. She ended up joining the military. She went into logistics, right? When she came to me, she was in logistics in the civilian world. Now, all her friends she went to school with were all fashion designers in Italy. And then she comes back and says, hey, I'm going to start my own sustainable Italian fashion business. She got turned down by her bank because her bank said she didn't have industry experience. Okay. She had a website. Her whole store was on a website. She didn't have a brick and mortar store. She had a website, did all her stuff. All her products in Italy. I said, you're not in the retail business. You're in the logistics business. Okay. You're in the Air Force doing logistics. You're in the civilian world doing logistics. Where's all your product? Italy. Where are all your customers? United States, Arizona, California, New York. Who does logistics better than you? Nobody. So we did uh, we revamped her executive summary on our business plan, which we're going to go into the next episode. Business planning, crucial, and we tweaked that around a little bit. Showed that hey, I can guarantee my product's going to be X, Y, Z. They're going to get here on time. Changed the whole summary, got her approved. Her bank wasn't willing to do that. Her bank wasn't willing to work with her on that. Okay, these are the differences between somebody working at a branch and who's an expert in the field. Okay. And I'm not guaranteeing anything for anybody. I'm not saying I get you approved for anything. I'm just saying these are some of the success stories I've had, and these are some of the things that I've seen that just didn't work out. Okay. I want to share these experiences with you. It can be done. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to happen. Okay. But if you want to start a business, industry experience is going to be key. We have to make the underwriter comfortable with what you got going on. Okay, they want to know they're going to get paid back. They want to know what you're doing. Okay, now we're going to cover a lot of things in a lot of episodes. Business plans are going to be one of them. That's another crucial key. We're going to go over cash flow, and then we're going to go over the post close liquidity as well. Okay, but the thing I got to, like I said, stress to you is that if you're going to want to start a business, don't cash in all your chips. Don't go Cortez. Don't push all your chips in the middle. Let's get a plan together. Let's start working on that business plan. If you're a veteran, it's an op order. For civilians, it's called a business plan. Okay. Let's work on doing that together. Something we can do here. Here's a deal. I can get you with the experts that can help you out with these things. Okay. We're about to wrap the show up for this episode. Tune in again, episode 2. But like I said, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, so that way we can keep the show going. All right. Like I said, we're going to give you those tools, get you guys started. So, next episode, like I said, we're going to talk about business planning. We're going to go over that. But once again, I just want to, first of all, this show's not even possible without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who saved my soul. And I thank God every day that He had mercy on me. I just want to give a shout out to my wife and kids, who've been supporting me, doing this thing, giving me the motivation to do so. Again, I got to thank my buddy Mike Guernsey, helped me out with the production on this show. And of course, always my brother Mario Aguirre of Fallen 360, who got me into podcasting in the first place. So If you're blaming anybody for the show, blame Mario. He's the one who got me started. So that being said, hey, this is Chris Flowers. Here's the deal. Tune in next time. Like I said, we're going to talk more about going Cortez, but we're going to talk about business planning. Because if you don't, how's the saying go? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we're going to talk about that and get you hooked up. God bless y'all. Good night.